The Champagne de Argent rabbit, commonly known today as just the champagne rabbit, is born black and then the silver fur grows in very quickly. We'll talk about that and more fun Champagne d'Argent rabbit facts as I sketch this little hop along casty. So let's just turn the page and get started. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Is it Friday morning already? Wow, the week just flew by. Friday morning. Friday mornings is when I like to do a little thing where I pull a toy from the toy box, a random object from the Random Object Randomogrifier, if you will, and I like to draw it and talk about it. And today's random object from the Random Object Randomogrifier is a Champagne d'Argent rabbit. Now, it's commonly called just a champagne rabbit now. We'll get to that in a minute, but they're silver. They're considered bluish silver, and they're very, very popular rabbits for their unique fur, and they're highly prized and valued for their unique fur and for the amount of meat they produce, which of course is what they were developed for. They weren't developed for their sexy fur. Sexy fur is just a side effect. But they're born jet black, and they're turned completely silver by 6 months. They're about 16 to 18 inches long as adults, which is about five hedgehogs. But if you were to But if you were to stack 5 hedgehogs like that, they wouldn't much like it. Good morning, Claudia. Good morning, Adele. I saw Rick was here also. Good morning, Rick.
Adele says she was Googling this beautiful bunny and found out that they have a rabbit zoo nearby.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you gotta take pictures of that and send those in. We'll show those off on Thursday. You go take pictures. You go to absolutely you have to go to the rabbit zoo. Oh, that sounds fabulous. Adele, I would be totally jealous of you going to, especially if they have a place where you can go sit down and be covered up in bunnies. You absolutely have to do that and take pictures. Oh my goodness. So have you ever seen one of these rabbits? They're like I said, they're about 18 inches long. The silver patterns come in the silver doesn't just come in all at once. It comes in patterns, and the breeders have nicknamed the patterns things like the Batman when they come in with a mask and cowl first, or the clown cheeks because they get the spots on their cheeks before they get anything else, or polka dots or zigzags. They come in patterns, and they're known patterns, but every time it comes in different for every animal. And so there's like fingerprints the way the spots work out, but then they don't last because the rabbit almost immediately goes completely silver.
How do you want to know how many bananas?
Well, if it's 18 inches, then it's 24. Then it's 23 bananas. Is that right? No. No, because it's 8 inches per banana. So it's two and a half bananas. Two bananas, a little over 2 bananas. Little over 2. Anything but the metric system. Good morning, Pamela. Anything but the metric system. I had somebody comment the other day how proud they were that I refused to use the metric system. My commitment to not using the metric system, because they were really impressed that I've used sea isopods as a unit of measurement.
Adele says they have over 50 breeds of rabbits, as well as many goats, ostriches, ducks, and other birds.
Oh, yes.
And their description says that you're allowed to pet and feed rabbits.
Oh my goodness, yes. You have to go and you have to take pictures, and you have to get one picture of yourself covered up in rabbits. That would be fabulous, and send it to me so that I can put it on Thursday nights. We just like last night. We did our show where I just art with my besties. My cameras are off. I'm not in the right place.
No, you're not.
Yeah. I used to have a producer that would tell me stuff like that.
You know, sleeping on the job.
I tell you what, we're all sleeping on the job. After the show, after the Thursday night show, it takes me so long to come down. It's not. I don't think it's adrenaline, but you could say it's adrenaline. I do get very excited. I look forward to the show, and I enjoy it so much. It just takes me a very, very long time to come down off of that high of doing the show on Thursday nights, and so I end up staying up stupidly late. So I'm not upset with you at all for not noticing that my camera had changed. No room to talk about. Say again?
It wouldn't do you any good.
What, getting sleep?
No, you get aggravated with me.
Get aggravated with you?
Yeah, you're not doing my job.
Oh, it wouldn't do me any good to get aggravated. I understand.
Right.
See, I'm a little slow today. So they have their genes tell their cells to just turn off the pigment production. It starts in about 6 weeks. They start turning silver, and it's complete by 6 months. But their genetics that just tells them to stop the silver production, and it's unique to every animal. And I thought that was pretty wild, because it's like, I don't know. To me, that's one of the weirdest things about these things. You would think that they would just slowly go over, but it's more like stop producing black. And what they end up with is a white tip, bluish looking fur that appears silver. It's highly valued. When in the 1600s, when it was developed, the pelt of this rabbit sold for about 10 times what the price of other rabbits would sell for. So most other rabbits were going for 2 or 3 pence, which would be today $2 or $3, and this rabbit was going for 2 or 3 shillings, which today would be 20 or 30 bucks. It was just highly prized. They think it was developed by monks. They're not sure, but they think some monks bred this rabbit for the meat and to be able to sell the pelt as a benefit, as a source of income for the monastery. They're not sure, because the records kept in the 1600s are not entirely accurate for the source of the rabbit. But they do know that there were some monks that raised them, and they raised the rabbits that they think this thing was bred from. However, the sources don't go into details about the ancestry of the rabbit, but it has a cousin that is a champagne de crème. I have no idea how to say it in French. I'm one of those people that does every foreign accent in Spanish. But they have a cousin that is a cream-colored rabbit, and it was very popular in its day, but for some reason it's dying off now. It's not nearly as popular now.
Adele says their grandmother used to raise rabbits. They were less cold than these, and they were mixed breed rabbits raised for meat.
Raised for meat. Meat rabbits used to be the thing. You know, we all grew up with the Easter Bunny and being surrounded by cuteness. And when I first found out that rabbits were a food crop, I was like, nah, nobody eats anything that cute. Yes, they do. Yes, they absolutely do. Most food animals are not cute. I don't know if you've ever noticed this or not, but we have a tendency to avoid cute and intelligent animals for food crops. But this one didn't quite get the memo about that. This is my favorite part of the whole process. This is the part that turns it from just some lines on the page to a dimensional object. And I love this process. What?
Adele says they were much less nice than your average pet rabbit. She's been kicked her fair share of times. She's trying to get above it.
Yes. Yeah, they're not as nice as they appear on television, for sure. I've been bitten. Yeah, I didn't. The first time you get bit, you realize, you know, they're not the friendly little bunnies you think they're going to be.
Audience says no way.
Oh, about this being my favorite part? Yeah, I know. I probably should have told you guys that sometime before. I've withheld that for a very long time because I was afraid of what you might think of me if you found out this was my favorite part. But I really can't stay in the closet about it any longer. This is absolutely my favorite part of the whole process. Gives the whole thing shape. Gives depth to the whole thing. And I love it. I could stop right there. I would be perfectly happy stopping right there and just calling that done. And considering that it's a silver rabbit, it just almost is. Just almost is completely finished. Hey, Sour Cheese Gaming. Good morning. Did I properly say good morning to Rick and Adele and Claudia
And Pamela.
and Pamela? I'm sorry, Pamela. I don't think I properly said good morning. I don't think I properly greeted anybody today. All right, let me dry that real quick, and then we'll come back with some color. There's not much color. I think coloring the background is probably going to be the bigger thing to do today. Claudia says I'm not obligated. I'm not sure what I'm not obligated to do, but
Say good morning.
oh. But it's polite and it's fun, and I like greeting my friends, especially my friends that are in the Netherlands or in Oklahoma or all over the world, Lithuania. We had Tice. Tice managed to make it to the show last night. Tice is in Australia. We don't get to see him much these days. I'm pretty sure it's because school's in. We don't get to see him much these days. I don't know. Does Australia take summers off? Does Australia go to school in the winter like the U.S. or? I have no idea. Does England? Is Lithuania? I have no idea. I want to go to a rabbit farm. I want to go to a rabbit zoo and be covered in rabbits. There was one in Chicago. There was a rabbit farm in Chicago. I think it was in Chicago. And they had a franchise where they put rabbits. They put little rabbit places in all over the country. You had to have a special key to get into them. They were something bunny. Hugh Hefner, I think, started that. I need to be covered in bunnies for sure. All right, what kind of background color should we use for that? How about scarlet? Scarlet would offset the ochre. These things have a nickname of being the Black Angus of rabbits in the proportion of meat that they provide to the weight of the rabbit. Almost a full 70% of this thing once harvested becomes meat. They in about 6 weeks they can raise the kittens. The kittens get big enough that they can have 7 or 8 pounds of meat every 6 weeks. So they're not only are they very prolific breeders, as rabbits are wont to be, but they are also the things that they are also very very quick to reach the meat stage.
Oh, yeah.
A dirty mind is a pleasure for life. A dirty mind is a pleasure for life. I'm a very wholesome boy. I can't believe you would suggest that I have a dirty mind. Going to the dryer now. How's that go? I resent the implication. I can't believe you would even suggest, after all we've known each other, anything but denial, because denial would be a lie. And I'm not going to lie about it. But I can pretend to be offended at the accusation. I'm appalled that you would suggest that I have a dirty mind. In 1912, this rabbit was introduced to the Americas, and the Americans liked the coloring but didn't like the fur. They wanted the fur to be more, I guess velveteen is the word for it. They wanted the fur to be shorter and more. When you coat rabbit fur, you stroke it one way and it springs back. They wanted it to be more of that. And so they kind of changed the breed a little bit in the Americas, but they still call it forever. They still called it the Champagne d'Argent, but now it's just more commonly known as the Champagne rabbit. But I think that's just as much because the Champagne de Crème is practically extinct. I mean, there's less than 1,000 of those, but these things are still fairly prevalent because they are such good meat rabbits. They've been around for a very long time. They're one of the few rabbits that can trace their lineage back 400 years as an existing breed. But again, I want to go with Adele to the rabbit zoo. Ostriches, they have ostriches too. And then just a little bit of fur texture there. But I think we're done. Oh, but it says I know my type of people. Bull trader. What? I can't believe. What is today? Today is the 19th. I'm not denying anything. I can neither confirm nor deny. The 19th of June. That's crazy. It's almost July already. All right. So there is my rabbit. There's my rabbit compared to the photograph. Let's see what it looks like compared from my perspective. I should have, you know what? I completely forgot. Let's just take just a minute here. I completely forgot to put in the markings for the rabbit. I was so focused on the shading that I completely forgot the markings. Let me take just a minute here and get
Rick said he ordered a rabbit this morning.
outstanding.
This time he took a picture of it and sent the picture to your Blade address.
Yeah,
Thanks,
yeah. The Kindle, the Kindle that you're drawn has not been sent in the PDFs. I'm impressed that you're drawing them on the Kindle, but the PDFs have not been coming through. There we go. Any other markings I'm missing? I don't think so. I'm gonna stop. It's so easy to overwork stuff like this. I'm gonna stop. He says as he dips his brush in the water one more time. Just one more. Let me just shoot one more thing. Just one more thing. Just one more thing. All right, now I'm stopping. I'm putting my brush away. Time's up. Gotta stop. All right, back to what I was doing. Take the picture from my perspective. Yeah, I don't think it's anything you've done, Rick. But when you send it to me from the Kindle, it goes through Amazon. The email doesn't come from Rick. The email comes from Amazon. The email comes from Amazon Kindle. So I think it's entirely them. So let's see here. There it is. There it is from my perspective. So that's what I did this morning. Tomorrow, what do we have tomorrow? Oh, the suspense. The suspense. What could it be? Whatever could it be? The suspense is what gets you. I know everybody's down for the suspense. Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. It is a lotus blossom. Look at that. It is a lotus blossom. Lotus blossoms look like lilies, or rather, more accurately, lilies, which is a younger flower, looks like lotus blossoms, and the name is conflated because of Egyptian translations. They're not, lilies are not lotuses. Lotuses have been around for tens of thousands of years, tens of millions of years, and they're one of the oldest flowering plants on the planet. They had temperature controlled cells. They speed their metabolism up in their cells to keep it warm in the winter, in the springtime, so that the bees will and the other animals will mate in there to spread pollen. We'll talk about that and more fun lotus facts tomorrow morning at 5:30 a.m. Texas time. You're going to want to set your notification bell so you don't miss that. because we're going to sketch that little flower. And I'm happy that it's blue. Most of the flowers in that set from Safari have been a purple color, and that one's blue like a lotus is supposed to be. So we'll talk more about that tomorrow morning at 5:30 a.m. Texas time. So you're going to want to set your notification bell to not miss that. But in the meantime, guys, thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. Arting with my besties is my favorite time of the day. It holds me accountable to my art practice and is often the only art I get to do in a day. Thank you so much for joining me, Pamela, Rick, Claudia, Adele, Sour Cheese Gaming. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Be sure and tune in tomorrow, same Artistic Biker time, same Artistic Biker channel. And we dance. We dance until somebody says they see me dancing, because when they see me dancing, I will know that the lag has caught up to the stream. It will mean that I won't get cut off mid-sentence. It gives everybody a chance to say hello and goodbye to each other and ask any questions of each other that they may have. But give you a chance to click the clicky things. This way if you're on horizontal, this way if you're on the vertical. But the most important thing is